I'm surprised it didn't stop. Part 2. Are you enjoying this?
I love talking to you, Charles.
Yes, it's been. When was the last time we talked? Like
I don't know when I think probably back when I was actually in politics.
Yeah. People enjoyed those videos that we did.
Yeah.
Me and you when you were leader of the Green Party. Yeah, the good old days.
I think I've gained some weight since then.
Huh?
I think I gained a little chin weight, but...
So what are you reflecting on yourself now? You're just Facebook. You like Facebook?
Yeah, I do.
How many so-called friends you got on Facebook?
I think it's about 3,200.
3,200?
Yeah.
How come so many?
Well, I write little political comments.
Do you accept anybody to be a friend?
No.
I don't.
No,
I rejected about 600.
No,
I rejected about 600.
You know, there's like hundreds of friend requests there. I sometimes go through them and I will say, okay.
Do I know you? What a smile.
Yeah, or I don't have to necessarily know them, but first of all, I want to know, are they somebody that's actually got a profile there? Yeah. Are they from New Brunswick? You know, whatever. You know, there's a lot of people who are, you know, trying to advertise something to you, and I don't want that, and whatever.
There's a lot of...
And I want people who like my writing, like, because I like to write, especially where I'm alone. You know.
Don't start crying here.
No, I'm not crying.
Is that enough on Facebook?
No, but I'm like you. It's like, no, it's not a poor me. It's a form of dialogue. It's a form of connection.
You remind me of Kevin Vickers. You know him?
You remind... I remind you of you
Kevin,
and me.
Kevin Vickers.
I think
Remember Kevin Vickers? Let me tell you a story when I was in El Paso. Let me tell you a story when I shot somebody.
When you get
Let me tell you a story when I was in Ireland. Like you. Oh, I remember. Let me tell you a story, Mr. Vickers. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I can't tell you a story. I get 2 sentences in and you'll... That's why I like to write.
That's what people are going to say.
Well, I was a school teacher as well, as you may know, and for the last 5 years of my career, I was teaching school. And you know, kids would ask me, why do I like to write so much? And I'd say, well, I like to write because it's you get to think about what you say. It's uninterrupted. It flows like a river.
Do you reread what you write?
Absolutely.
I don't. And it shows too.
Well, in writing, you know, I go back for punctuation, spelling, or maybe if I said something a little awkwardly, I will fix that. Why not? It's Facebook. When you put it in a book, once you hit print, it's print, and the mistakes are there.
I used to write a lot, but there's a lot of people going to say,
no, there's something very therapeutic about writing. I always feel better after I've said something. Sometimes it's a negative article, but sometimes, most of the time, it's very, very positive. I try to...
it changed, huh? It used to be letters to the editor.
Yeah,
and now it's the internet.
Yeah.
What do you think of this idiot, coward, jerkface?
The idiot, coward, jerkface.
You know, so brave behind a monitor. So brave. They say whatever they want.
Who, you?
No, me. They know who I am. Even though I'm covered like this.
Who's the idiot?
The anonymous.
Idiot, coward, the anonymous.
Idiot, coward. That's what I call them.
No,
idiot,
I don't.
Coward,
Anybody. One of the things I will edit out of my Facebook page is anyone who... I don't mind people being loyal politically, like arguing with me. I think probably every politician, not every one of them, but a lot of them are. You know, they will chirp me for a point, and I like that. I don't want everybody to agree with everything I say, but anytime I get, you know, pure hatred on there or something like that, I just delete them. I just say, that's not what I want to hear.
You know,
like, some people just hate people.
Yeah, I'm responsible.
I love, you know, boxing. But boxing is sort of like where you can, well, a fist fight sounds like you really want to hurt something, but I think boxing is more like...
It's a Scottish thing.
You make a jab, you take a jab, and when it's over, you shake hands, and that's it. And So, I mean, Higgs, I'll jab him once in a while, and certainly, Dominic Carty, the way he's talked to people, I think
Part 2.
really disrespected him for that.
Listen, if we turn around right quick, letters to the editor, they used to write anonymous letters. I'm responsible to have it changed. No longer, because there was during the crisis of the Core Party.
You have no idea.
Core Party, and they were writing anonymous letters to cause shit between French and English. And if you don't have the guts to show your face or your name behind an opinion, you could go. You know the rest.
No, listen, Charles, on you, and I don't mean to be patronizing, but you're the only one of the few pipelines to truth in New Brunswick. And a lot of journalists, I have friends of mine who are journalists, and when I say that, it really rankles them because they got a bachelor of journalism from STU, and they work for the newspaper and they get a paycheck. But I'm like, well, the thing is you're not allowed to say certain things, and it's even like Ronnie Berry. I did an editorial board. I don't know. I hope so. But I did an editorial board with him and a few other people, and I said, Ronnie, come on. Like, can you really go to Irving and talk about clear cutting, or if there was an accidental spill from the pulp mill, could you really go and do some investigative journalism? That's what's totally lacking in New Brunswick. There is no investigative journalism.
No, only Robert Jones on his way. He doesn't report like he used to.
No, they cut his gonads off or something. I've tried to, I've pleaded with him to try. I used to say the 6 most feared words in the Premier's office was Bob Jones is on the line, because he was the best journalist for digging, right? And now he's the gas guru. He's going to tell you the price went up a cent yesterday or not. I mean, that is humiliating. You might as well be a freaking elephant in a clown suit.
It's time for
really, retire, Bob. And I love him. I don't understand him. I mean, he was the top journalist, and I don't know why he went to sleep on us, because I really loved him. And there's so much stuff. Like, for example, how did Jeffrey Epstein's money end up at the Toronto Dominion Bank?
Oh, did it?
Yes, it did. All of it.
Oh, really?
Yes. When the Deutsche
listen, buddy, why don't you contact your old buddy Frank McKenna?
When the Deutsche Bank...
Answer the question.
He won't talk to me. What? Believe me.
He don't talk to you anymore?
No.
But old Frankie, man?
No. Frank trashed me all over the place.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'd say game on. Game on.
I tried to interview Frank once and somebody interfered. Frank is not like he used to be.
No, Frank's for Frank. That's all.
Okay, let's focus. Okay, so you say that money is in Toronto?
When the Deutsche Bank was one of the dirtiest banks in the world, and they were, a whistleblower went out on them. They were cleaning drug money. They were, third world countries were laundering money there through arms deals and all that. So the new president of the Deutsche Bank that they appointed came in and had to clean it up. And one of the first guy he got rid of was Jeffrey Epstein. Okay? Toronto Dominion Bank picked that money up. Now, Frank is best friends with Bill Clinton. Okay?
Yeah,
so don't you think somebody should go and stick a microphone in front of Frank's face and say, how did Jeffrey Epstein's money end up at the Toronto Dominion Bank? And why are people supporting the Toronto Dominion Bank? That's outrageous. And if I was at CBC, I'd be all freaking over that like white on rice.
Listen, who's going to get shot here? This is my video. Is it you or me?
Me.
They can't, at least in Toronto.
Oh, Frank
in Toronto,
is
they can't.
Oh, he's
my damn squeaky voice.
He'll never be the one to pull the trigger, but believe me,
focus.
Okay,
let's focus again.
That's just one thing we could do.
But the media they don't, like you said, investigate, and they don't get off their ass.
Where's the investigation into
they don't get off their ass.
That Akron thing? I know it's years ago now, and it sounds like you say it, but when you stop and think about the money, $80 million robbed out of the coffers of New Brunswick.
And did you see their homes up north?
Oh, I mean, and the Auditor General screaming for
More money and
the
inquiry.
Auditor General screaming for a public inquiry, or like, let's look into this.
Yeah.
And Brian Gallant, just like no, poof poof, and they just swept it under the rug.
So how come
And they
Blaine
bought
Hay-
themselves enough time to say, oh, stop talking about Akon and all
How
that.
come
So
Blaine
they're away
Hayes,
from it.
Don't talk about it. Too busy talking about the Corona crisis.
Well, again, it's like you're trying to settle issues. I mean, you're going back now 10, 12 years, but that's frank. And Sean Graham and all that. Those are questions that they should have been asked.
Funny how people came to
And it'd be great journalism, but we have no journalism in New Brunswick.
No, we don't. No.
We have none. So you are it. Are you afraid to ask anybody a question?
It depends what it is.
No, but I mean, are you like, well, I like this guy, don't think I'll ask him a question? No, I don't think so. I've never seen you be afraid of it.
I cross the line once in a while, then I go back.
Yeah. Well, I think that's balanced. I don't think, everything's bad about any particular guy, but I think on that Jeffrey Epstein thing, when you think the whole world is, I mean, there's a potential New Brunswick connection. I mean, Bill Clinton, Frank McKenna are best friends. All the money ends up at Toronto Dominion.
Before I forget, we're getting old.
I'd want to know how that money ended up there.
I remember, CBC National.
No, CBC won't do it because,
Focus, Jack. I remember when I first...
If I was Bob Jones, I'd be all over it.
I started doing I'll send this to Robert.
But that takes courage.
I'll send this to Robert. Robert's getting old now.
Yeah.
He's close to retiring. He plays golf.
I know.
Talk to Terry and talk about his golf game. Okay, focus.
And the gas going up a dollar. Gas guru. And guru doesn't even, he's not, it should be more like the gas genie. The genie is the guy who predicts the future.
This is liquid Ritalin.
Guru means teacher.
This is liquid Ritalin. Yeah.
But I do love Bob Jones. I love him from his old days.
Me too. Oh my God.
And I love him as a person when he is gone from journalism. And I'll be honest with you. He did a very critical interview with me of the theater back in the day, and it was really good.
And he saved my neck at St. John when I was arrested.
He did. And I think really good critical interviews actually benefit sometimes the person being critically questioned and analyzed.
Now they're starting, CBC's starting to have interviews during the hour show now.
Yeah.
And they talk,
we should stay home, we should this, we should that. I mean, lead the freaking problem. Do you want to, why would you get in the game of politics and not want to friggin' make...
You don't know, because a journalist now can't do no investigating reporting because they want to be appointed communication.
Right. Yes, like Don Richardson or something like that. Yeah, or Mo Robichaud or something like that.
$80,000 a year.
Yeah, right.
I remember when I first started doing. I remember like Kevin Vickers. I remember, but we're getting old, Jack. I remember when I first started doing these. It wasn't videos. Yeah, it was videos. I started. They arrested me. They said, by the way, I'm not allowed on the ground. Did you see that a couple of weeks ago? The security come to me and say, I say, go for a walk. But anyway, they arrested me, make a long story short. They arrested me, brought me to the police station. The lawyer, I said, you have a lawyer? I was a rookie. I said, of course I don't have a lawyer. Well, here's a lawyer right here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
In the boot, make you look important. What happened? I don't know. They just grabbed me off the ledge and blah, blah, blah. Okay, blah, blah. Okay, you just sign those papers they're going to give you.
Yeah.
And you'll be out of there in 5 minutes. So they go, so did you talk to your lawyer? I guess so. Okay, here's the papers. Oh, I got to sign papers? Yeah, right here. Oh, you don't have the right to talk. Conditions. You don't have the right to talk to one MLA pending your trial.
Right. See,
I said, I can't sign that because some of my best friends are MLA. Abel LeBlanc. I knew Abel LeBlanc before he came here.
Right.
If you don't sign that, you are going to go to jail.
Right.
And I told them, I said, you know what, boys?
Journalists who go to jail are usually heroes, by the way.
But
it's a badge of honor to go to jail for exposing the truth. I mean, you did some groundbreaking stuff filming the police hitting people. I think they're on much better behavior now.
It was payback time.
It was, you know,
And they
that's
came
why I
after
said,
me. Label me as a
they came
pedophile.
after you.
Label me as a pedophile. Can you imagine?
I can't imagine any kid wanting to do anything with you, Charles.
Jack, focus, Jack. Focus.
Yeah, no.
By the way, talk about.
You're a good man, Charles.
Talk about that, Jack. Did you see last week? I noticed on the video I was filming the sunset in Carlton Park, and then I hear behind me, "Oh, excuse me, are you Charles LeBlanc?" And I look. There was this cute little blonde, the sun shining in her face like this.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Who wants to know?" "Oh, I watch your videos." "You do?"
Yeah.
And I said to myself, where does an 8-year-old beautiful little girl, there's a 25-year-old, 30-year-old parents watching me right now. But she said, "I watch my videos." It scared the shit out of me.
Just because,
that a parent, got to control what those kids watch these days.
Well, yeah, no, the kids shouldn't watch, you know, and most, I would not
she was very smart.
believe that for 1 second, Charles, that you know, now if somebody came forth and charged that, you know, I mean, I'd have to say, well, what are the circumstances?
No, they went fishing. See, they went fishing, as you hear me say many times, and we're not going to talk
well,
about
they know that's the worst label they can put on a man.
Look,
and
right
so
here,
some people
the Fredericton police.
Right.
I, Detective Rob Costello, God bless his soul, that's the guy that was shot dead, Northside.
Right.
A peace officer, the Friendly Police Force. I am conducting a criminal investigation relating to a child sexual exploitation offense. Right there. So what they said, he lives alone, he takes pictures, he has no kids, he has to be into child porn. Put me in jail for 4 hours, search everything. The sexual child exploitation unit was in my place, and they went through 500,000 pictures.
Right.
Of course, they never found nothing.
No,
but they went fishing.
Yeah.
And they should have been a proper, and they paid Bernard Richard $40,000. He never even talked to me.
No.
And they say on
you
from the
should have
police,
sued for that.
You can't get no lawyer. I tried to sue them. You know what they did? Make a long story short, you remember when those 2 cops from Edmonton, they come and get me? Try to grab me there, want to bring me for a ride? Remember those 2? Go to Edmonton, go to YouTube, write Edmonton police. They went for a complaint.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're jumping here to me.
Well, no, but I would think anything like that, you would have a parent or a child making the complaint.
Make a long story short, 2 Edmonton police came and grabbed me, and that was when I was suing. So when it came to the civil suit, the Attorney General office were in the court. I said, I can't say anything to the judge, Pauline Garnett. I can't say anything because anything I say could incriminate me. And guess what? They went without the trial without me. So can you imagine?
Yeah.
There's no lawyers here. Hey, how you doing?
No, look. There are people.
There's no lawyers
who will. There's no bottom for them for what they would do to hurt somebody if they're on your target list.
Oh,
and Charles, I mean, you rankled the police. Now, by the way, I think 95% of the police are very decent, good people. I've personally
I agree 100%.
You know, and it just takes 1 or 2 people out of control.
The establishment supports the bad cops.
That's the problem.
And their union.
Right.
Their union, I support union 100%.
Yeah.
But the bad, Dale Carter, Bobby Beauchamp Simmons, River Rat, Matt Myers, he now works for the government.
I know Matt.
Rob, he's a piece of shit. Anyway, Rob Costello, sorry, excuse my language.
Matt Myers?
Matt Myers.
Matt's one of the nicest guys.
No, he'll stab you in the back so quick.
Oh, will he?
Oh yeah.
I know he will in poker
Fred
anyway.
Wiseau, and what's the other one? Oh, Rob Costello, God bless his soul. But the bottom line here, the cops. Remember Matt Myers? No. Very bad person. Very bad. But, and I hear that from his fellow cops too. So you could just imagine. I'm not anti-cop. I am anti-bullshit. And to have to go after certain people for their own agenda, and to intimidate witnesses. We had a witness, remember when I was on trial for that assault? Remember that? Oh my God. And then we had one witness, Shane Henderson, a cop, and Bobby Beauchamp Simmons, intimidated, the only witness we had. It's funny how we're changing this to me. Okay, I apologize.
That's the ADD.
Man, I think it's just my ego.
Oh yeah.
So you're doing.
We all have an ego. I have mine.
You're going to be all right. We're going to continue your Facebook, and with you pass the time. Let's.
Well, I spend more of my time with grandchildren now and children, and I have a good life. I've had a good run. I'm still interested to watch it go down. I'm just an armchair observer, making points here and there. I like Higgs. Is he going to be reelected? Well, if he could find a French lieutenant, Hatfield had Jean-Marie Simard, and it was just wonderful for him because Jean-Marie and Jean Gauvin, but Jean-Maurice was the boss, and Jean Gauvin knew how to be a good soldier. And once you get that leadership, Robert Gauvin, he missed out the golden opportunity of a career to really have broken ground for the Conservatives. He would have been the number 2 guy forever. Yeah. He would have been on the scale of Jean-Maurice Simard and higher.
Nobody can predict the future.
Well,
if he could have seen,
I'm going to make a prediction for him right now. Yeah, right. I was going to say his career is over. He might as well enjoy every last day. And if the Liberals take him on, well then maybe, because my instinct of the North would be, that's not the guy who represents the Francophone community. No way. That is not the guy. And if he goes into the Liberals, that could be a real crack. And now I hear they're going to dust him off like Bernard Thériault is going to try and come on and take on Kevin Arsenault.
When he first got elected, he always ran away from me. I wonder why. Why would a politician run away from me?
Well, because first of all, he can. There's not much downfall. If you run away from a CBC reporter, and then they'll get you. They've got a lot more infrastructure and power and whatever. But you can, like, for example, if let's say CBC wanted to do an interview with McKenna, and I'm not going back to him, but just say they did. Well, McKenna's secretary would say, well, what do you want to talk to him about? Yeah. I want to talk to him about this and this and this. Say, fine, as long as we keep it to that issue, we'll have a conversation. That's boring. But if you said, I want to be able to ask a series of questions, the answer's no. Yeah. No. So you can't get through to him.
You know what I like about politicians running away? I could answer my own questions.
Well, yeah.
I answer my own questions. I mean, I just chase after them and answer my...
Yeah, in their own mind, to me, the politician can, argue that many ways, but
there's no editing here. There's no editing.
That's what I'm saying, and that's where the point I was making for you, Charles, is like I'll probably go back and say, oh, I wish I didn't say that, or I wish I didn't say that. But you know what I mean?
I always do.
Like, that, it is what it is, and you hope that the person listens to the whole thing and gets, like, on my Facebook, I have a statement that I made up, and I say the most important word in the English language is the word context. So you have to understand what was said, when it was said, why it was said, what were the circumstances surrounding it. You can't just take a little thing out and say, whoa, look at that. But people do, and then they twist it to their own meaning, and it happens.
I love the story you did, and that's so true. As a matter of fact, I even tried to suck hole you for that also. You made a vow with your wife. When he goes, Uh-oh.
I made a lot of vows with my wife.
This is where we cross
Yeah.
the line. No, we're not crossing the line. I wouldn't do that. That's personal shit. When you wrote the vow about, hey, Jack, listen, I need a doctor.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, no, that was the truth because, and you know, I would be asked almost on a daily basis, is there any way I could get your wife? But the only one I broke ground on was Tony Berry. She worked in our office. Do you remember
when
Tony?
She died, she was 120.
Well, it seemed like that. She lived forever, but
she knew how to straighten me. I tell you
but
that.
they went over and they found, you know, I don't know, you know, thank God, because, but generally speaking, like the way Tony approached me that day, I still remember it. I mean, she had something. She said, "Jack, I'm really worried about something."
She didn't have a doctor?
I think she had a doctor who wasn't listening to her.
Oh, okay.
And she just asked if she could go see Francis, and the next thing you knew, she was under surgery, and
really?
yeah, it was
Is that who
days.
you were talking about?
Yeah.
Is that who you were talking about? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's who you were talking about.
Yeah, she lived another 30 years.
Oh, wow.
40, maybe even.
That was a good story. And those are stories when you say context.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we are known to speak our mind and just don't take one statement out of and ruin the whole thing. But no, I noticed there's a big fan base out there. When I go somewhere, I don't wear that blogger shit jacket.
Well, I think
there is a fan, because you know why? I go somewhere
Charles,
and they hear my voice. That obnoxious voice.
There was a lady in St. John when I was growing up as a kid. She wore a fur coat and a sort of like a Mary Poppins hat with a flower in it. And she stood at the head of the market, city market, every day, and she sold little paper flowers. And I remember walking by her every day, you know. I was 10 years old, 11 years old. I wasn't spending my money on a paper flower. But anyway, one day she died. And one reporter went to her funeral, and that reporter was the only person at her funeral. And they took a picture of her grave, and the whole city went into a crisis.
Oh, really?
Of mourning.
Oh, really?
Songs written about her, people writing letters about her endlessly, crying, writing, you know, they remembered this, and I bought a flower, and I have a flower. If you had a flower from the flower lady, you had a collector's item.
Yeah,
right?
How long ago was this?
Oh, this was she died back in the 70s.
Oh, really?
And I still remember the song, The Flower Lady. And so she was one of these iconic people that we just all took for granted until she was gone. And then she didn't even have enough people to go to a funeral.
I know where this is going.
Just the reporter, somebody said.
I know where this is
going. I'm just saying, Charles, it's like when you die, I wish I could, forward you the obituaries.
Can you imagine?
I'll write one for you. If I'm alive, I'll write you a good one.
And my enemies will also come straight forward. I wouldn't be around to defend myself. But they'll say, oh, he was the journalist of all journalists. And everything he did, it was for free. My camera breaks down. And I say, listen, anybody want to help me? Well, get a job.
Yeah.
I offer a service.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to continue to read this,
I'm going to give you whatever in my pocket.
What's that?
For your batteries. So we don't do it above table. Under table. Take it.
This is not going to help you.
I don't want it to help me. I don't care.
I don't edit. Buy me a coffee. But anyway, so we turn around.
No, but I agree. I think you're one of the most important things. Who else tells the truth in New Brunswick?
I'm going to take all these videos.
Who else?
And I'm going to bring it to the archives in New Brunswick.
Yeah, they should.
That's where they
should, because you know what?
100 years from now, they're going to look at this and say,
absolutely.
Who the hell is that? There was a guy named Frank. I don't know who it was. He went around 1910. I went around with a little newspaper.
Right.
And they mentioned his name, and don't know how come there's not a memorial for him. But he was just...
There was another lady, I can't remember her name. Oh gosh, I used to know it. So she died, and she never was married, and she lived, I think, in Chicago, and her hobby was just taking pictures. So everywhere she went, she'd take about 50 pictures a day. She would develop them, and then she'd put them in a box and put them in her attic. And then her son died, or she died, and somebody went up and they found all these negatives. And I think actually, if I'm not even mistaken, they were dumped out, almost like put at somebody wanted to dump them out. And then somebody got a hold of them, and they started publishing, and there were some of the best works of art in photography ever.
How come we don't have talk shows in New Brunswick?
Well, because this would happen, we would talk, and then people would say, oh my gosh, I don't know, I didn't know about that, and I didn't know about this, and oh my gosh.
The talk shows.
You're in New Brunswick, we're really one of the last places that has no journalism to speak of. None. And
look, the Woodstock Bugle tried to, what's it called again?
Kevin,
And he tried, and then
Langdon.
Security,
sells real estate now.
Industrial Security raided his place.
Shut you down, they'll
shut
fight
her down,
you.
Advertisement, they shut
anything.
her down.
They'll buy you out, they'll fight you, but you cannot express yourself in New Brunswick.
No, you can't. And that's scary.
Yeah, it's awful.
It is.
It's awful.
It is. And then you fight against the Irving.
You get a company, I have a lot of good things to say about the Irving family, the people, but
same here.
But the glyphosate spraying, where do we take ourselves to talk about this? Is crazy.
Let's talk something that people don't talk about.
People are
much.
sick,
people
cancer,
don't talk much, but
flooding in New Brunswick. Where do we go?
We'll talk about it fast.
Where does anybody go?
Mr. Irving.
Facebook.
Jim Irving.
Yeah.
And nice guy.
Nice guy. Beautiful.
He helped me.
Same as Arthur.
Every time I see Arthur, helped me too.
Totally.
No, and then Arthur, Kenneth, nice guy too.
Kenneth is another beautiful person.
But he said, frig this, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So anyway,
yeah.
J.K. Irving is holding J.D. Irving back. And the minute that J.K. kicks the bucket, things are going to get really, really dangerous and ugly, because I think J.K. is holding James back, and things are really going to get ugly. That's my prediction.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of things about, as I said, they provide wonderful employment to a lot of people.
That's a political answer. Let's talk about the personality.
The thing is they're so big that you can't say everything about them is good and everything about them is bad. Some people just hate them.
Yeah, true.
And some people just love them, like Frank. Frank could just dies to get a pat in the back of the head.
We're coming back to Frank.
Well, I mean, I watch it. But Frank was a guy with power. So, and maybe Higgs is too. Maybe Higgs is a yes man to them. I don't know. I don't even blame the Irvings for wanting what they want. Imagine if you could get everything you want, or if I could get everything I want anytime, all the time, no matter what. Jesus, I'd be, I'd be richer than I need to be.
You talked about earlier with the Irvings. It's funny because
they asked, but I don't even know what the Irvings want anymore, because the Irvings are more than one. They've morphed. There was Jim, Jack, and Art. Now there's John, Jim, and Robbie, and it's down the line, And I doubt. Look, I come from a big family. I don't agree with all my family. In fact, some of them, you may never want to see them again, whatever. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying in big families, it's not uncommon to have people who disagree with you. And then if you're in business together, well, then that's even worse. Okay. So I wouldn't be surprised that they don't all see eye to eye on different things. So when you say the Irvings, it's like, you can't even distinguish between who you agree with and who you disagree with. I don't like to hear somebody just say the Irvings and then go on their vitriolic spewing of some just endless negative.
34-minute, boy, we're on the roll. Boy, two old grumpy men.
Yeah, two old grumpy men. That's a good interview. Two old grumpy men.